I had to move out with my had to move out of my grandma's house, stay with my favorite aunt and my favorite cousins, and that went well. Got a new job, actually 2 new jobs, and trying to save up for my own place. And in between this process, I started doing music videos. I don't know what turned me to music. I guess frustration and a lot of built up anxiety and anger. But the music, a lot of people started to like it. In this phase, man, I made songs like "Leave Me Alone" and "Move On" and "What You Stressing For," college life, things like that. And a lot of people heard these songs. So in between this whole thing, I did a lot of writing in the past. Back in college, I did a lot of writing, and I wrote this script called "Road to Publicity," and it was based on a guy who had an online radio network and was trying to do whatever it took to become a actual radio show host. And throughout the process, I started recruiting people, like my friends from Houston, Fong Vu, he was on American Idol. My boy Reggie Yancey, he actually produced the whole "Leave Me Alone" thing. My ex girlfriend, Christian, she's a great singer, and she's also a great actress. Started calling some other actors in Houston. They were well known as well. And I was watching this video one day. There's this guy called Ken Boyd, and I was like, okay. I was watching the video with my cousins, and I had a smirk on my face. And one of my little cousins was like, "So what you thinking?" And I was like, "I'm gonna get him to be a part of my web series." And then they started laughing. They were like, "Man, you can't get this dude. This dude is up there and you way down here." And I was like, "I'm gonna get him to be a part of my web series." I already had the producing and acting mindset in my hand, in mind. You know what I'm saying? I've been through all the struggles. I've seen it. And life is all the act itself. So there's nothing wrong with acting. It wasn't hard for me. Just like the music, that wasn't hard for me. Going through this struggle, this process of trying to get everything together for my web series, it was tough. Then I went, I contacted Ken's manager, and come to find out he was actually on the same team with Chris Rock's brother, Tony Rock. Tony Rock is his mentor, and I didn't know that. And Ken was from Houston. I thought he was still in Houston, but he moved to New York. And Ken told me his whole story, everything like that before I met him in person. And I loved it, man. I loved his story, and he seemed real humble and everything. So, and he was like happy. He was like, "Man, I'm honored to be a part of your web series." And I was like, "All right, cool." So the only thing is, I'm working this job. I'm still paying a little bit of rent with my aunt, and I gotta find a way to get up there. And also, it's a lady up there called Lady E. Her name is Miss Edith. She's part of a radio network, and she was gonna be part of the web series too. I was trying to match it up to where I can be in New Jersey at this time and in New York at this time, and then turn back around and go back home. The main thing was, man, I got everything in order, but I just didn't have the money to do so. Told my mom about the situation, and my mom was like, she was like, no. She was like, no, I'm not gonna help you out with this. And I don't blame my mom. She was already paying for my phone and everything like that. She was like, "I'm not gonna help you with this. I'm gonna leave it at that, and I'm not gonna help you. I'm gonna, you got too much to work for. You don't need to worry about some web series." And I was like, "Yes, ma'am." So I posted it up on social media. I was like, "I'm sorry, guys. Looks like your boy isn't going big time and going to New York to film with Ken Boyd." Come to find out, I get a phone call hours later, and it's from my man John, the one who got me into town beef. And John's calling me. He's like, "Hey, man, heard you were coming up here." And I was like, "Yeah, I was. And it's not going to happen. I can't afford it." And John was like, John was like, Reggie, we've been good friends since day one. Never met you in person, but I'm gonna help you. And I was like, John, I was like, man, let me tell you, I don't like it when people help me because I feel like I always have to owe them something. And John was like, you don't understand. I'm not that type of person. I don't do things because I want something in return from somebody. I do things because I love that person. And I was like, wow, this is a person that's never met me before. I only have like hours conversations here and there over the phone. And we were talking mostly about football, sometimes life too, you know. But this is a person that really showed me that he really cared, you know, not because of money, but because he actually wanted me to accomplish something and he didn't want anything in return for it. And that's really rare because my whole life I've been seeing all these people, I've been surrounded by all these people, and all they had wanted was from me was something in return after they done something for me. And when that happened, I told John straight up, I was like, man, I love you, man, I really do. And John was like, hey man, I love you too, man, I can't wait to see you, can't wait to meet you in person. Go there, man, go to the New Jersey airport. He put money into my bank account. I'm not even gonna tell you how much it was. It just surprised me. It was enough to get there and back and still have a little bit of money left over. He hooked me up, man. And I got there, and when I got there, man, me and him, we clicked. It was like we knew each other. Like, it was like we knew each other since day one. Like, it wasn't even awkward or nothing. It was just like, Reggie and John? No, it was like, what's up, man? Well, glad to see you, you know. Like, oh man, it was phenomenal. Went out to eat with him, introduced me to his fiance and his family, and I met Mr. Ron DePaul and everybody, and it was just phenomenal. It was a phenomenal experience, and I could say this right now, man. Nobody has ever went out of their way to do anything like that for me since what my nana did for me in college, and nobody hasn't done anything like that for me since. And what I mean by that, I mean that these people that I'm mentioning right now, my nana and John, these are the only two people that I can say actually did something for me, other than my manager, and not want credit for anything. They don't care about credit. They only did it out of love. And when that happened, John, he was escorting me around New York. He was like, man, where you need to go? I'm not letting you take a taxi and shit like that. He was like, man, where you need to go? He was basically just driving me around. That whole weekend was for Reggie. And we spent a little bit of time together, but I was mainly there to work. And I know I had to catch my flight the very next day because it was a round trip, back-to-back days. And I seen the sights. I seen the new Eiffel Tower and shit like that. And I met Miss Lady Edith, Lady E, and she was phenomenal. Enjoyed working with her, and she gave me some pointers on the industry and everything like that. And she was interested in all my work, and it was just, we bonded when we first met each other. She was very nice and very humble, and she drove me from the studio on into the subways to where I needed to get to New York. And I told her thank you so much, and I loved her, and gave her a hug, and I told her I'll see her soon. And after we worked together and shot our scene and did our interview on the radio show, then had a little trouble in the subway, and I was talking to Ken, and Ken he led me to his house. And when I walked in the apartment, man, I was astounded. I was like, this is the dude I've been seeing that's funny as hell, the stand-up comedian on these videos, and I finally get to meet this guy. And when I meet him, he was real humble, man. He was humbling, and we dapped up and we shook hands, and from there, man, we just clicked. We did the whole scene. He had his boy Ice. Ice was a little bit of an asshole, I ain't gonna lie, but I guess it's just how some people are. He was a cool asshole though. I don't know how to explain it, but he was still an asshole. An asshole is an asshole. Ken was kind of an asshole too, but Ken was a cooler asshole than him. But anyways, an asshole's an asshole, but they were both cool with me. But anyways, we got the whole scene and everything knocked out. We did the promo, and that's basically what I used to promote Road to Publicity. A lot of people seen that, they seen how funny we were together, and they wanted us to collab on something again. And I asked Ken, would you want to do something like that again? He said, yeah. And we're probably going to work with someone in the future, but who knows? It just depends on if I'm up to it. But I had a great time going to New York and leaving I felt like, man, I wouldn't mind coming back there to stay. And I had it in the back of my mind that one day I might want to live in New York. But it only had to be close to my boy John, because that was the only person I could trust out there at the time. I would have to say that my experience with him, hanging out with him, was the best time that I had in New York. And it was fun. It was exciting and it was fun. I'm glad that he did what he did, and that we still have our friendship that's so tight and so great to this day.